Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a skill that can literally change every single relationship you have. I'm talking from the boardroom to your living room. It all comes down to mastering the art of listening. So, let me just ask you something right off the bat and be honest with yourself. In your conversations, are you really listening, or are you just waiting for your turn to speak? Think about that last chat you had. Were you soaking it all in, or was part of your brain just, reloading, getting ready to launch your next point? Answering that question honestly, that's the first real step. Now, the whole framework for this explainer comes from this absolutely brilliant infographic, so a huge shout out and thank you to Justin Wright over at brilliancebrief.com for putting this together. It's basically a map for having better conversations, and it's an amazing tool for figuring out exactly where you are and how you can go deeper. All right, let's start at the beginning, right at the surface level. Think of this as wading into the shallow end of the listening pool. These first two levels, well, they're kind of our default setting, aren't they? It's where the focus, whether we realize it or not, is still pretty much all about us. First up is level 1. And believe me, this is a place we have all been, probably way more often than we'd like to admit. This is pretty much the foundation of all miscommunication, where you're there physically, but your mind has kind of checked out. It's called waiting to talk, and it is pure, self-focused listening. It's not a real conversation. It's more like two monologues happening at the same time. You're just waiting for the other person to take a breath so you can jump in. Come on, you know the feeling. You're quiet on the outside, you're nodding along, but inside your head, the gears are just turning. You're lining up your counter-argument, crafting that perfect comeback, or planning the next story you're going to tell. You're not absorbing, you're just waiting for an opening. Okay, let's climb one little rung up the ladder to level 2. It's a tiny step up, but honestly, we're still in that zone where our own thoughts are basically shouting over the other person's words. This level is called hearing the words, but let's call it what it really is: distracted listening. Yeah, you hear the sounds, you might recognize the language, but your attention is split. It's fractured, and the actual meaning, it just gets lost in the noise. Just think about it. You're scrolling on your phone while someone's talking, right? Or maybe your mind just drifts off to your to-do list for the day. You catch a few phrases, some key words, enough to mumble at the right times, but you're completely missing the context, the nuance. The real message is just gone. Okay, listen up, because this next part is maybe the most important bit of this entire journey. This isn't a step that just happens automatically. This is where you make a conscious, powerful choice to shift your focus from me to you. And trust me, this is the shift that changes absolutely everything. And this just lays it out so perfectly. We're actively moving away from listening to reply, which is all about us, and moving toward listening to understand, which is all about them. This, right here, is where real communication actually starts. So that brings us to the big one. Level 3. Getting here is a total game changer, and it's a deliberate act. And hey, if you can make this your default mode, you are already a better communicator than most people out there, for sure. Level 3 is all about understanding the message. This is focused listening. It's like you find a switch in your brain, you flick off that noisy internal monologue, and you flick on your full attention. Now, you're not just hearing words, you're actually processing what they mean. And the original infographic just nails it with this quote. You're listening to understand, not to reply. That's it. That's the whole ballgame right there. Your entire goal changes. It's no longer about what you're going to say next. It's about genuinely getting what they are trying to say. So once you've got a handle on actually understanding the message, we can go even deeper. And these next two levels, this is where listening stops being just a skill and kind of transforms into a superpower. This is where you build true, meaningful connections. Let's move on to level 4. This is where communication really blossoms into genuine connection. We start to listen with more than just our ears and our brain. We actually start listening with our heart. We call this recognizing emotions, or what a lot of people call empathetic listening. Think of it like tuning into a radio station, but for the emotional frequency of the conversation. You're asking yourself, what's the feeling behind the words? So you're paying attention to their body language, their tone of voice. You know when someone says, I'm fine, but their voice is just a little too tight, or they're telling a happy story, but you can just sense a hint of sadness under it? That's this. This is where you connect on a truly human level. And finally, we've reached the top.
the summit, the highest, most profound, and honestly, the rarest level of listening, level 5.
This is hearing what's unsaid. It's a state of being completely, 100% present, where your intuition is fully engaged. You're so tuned in that you start to hear the spaces between the words, the hesitations, the things they don't say. This is all about understanding the core need. What are they really trying to say? What's the fear or hope that's hiding just behind their words? At this level, you're not just a listener anymore. You actually become a safe harbor, a space where the other person feels safe enough to explore their own thoughts more clearly. So, there you have it, the whole journey, from self-focused all the way to fully present listening. Use this as your personal map. In your next conversation, just ask yourself, what level am I on right now? Am I just waiting to talk, or am I trying to hear what's left unsaid? Just being aware of it is the first huge step to making a change. And hey, if you found this map of listening useful, we would love for you to join our community. Go ahead and like this explainer, subscribe for more, and most importantly, share your own experiences down in the comments. What challenges have you faced? Have you had any breakthroughs? And definitely let us know what we should break down next. I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. What is one single conversation you have coming up this week, maybe with a partner, a coworker, a friend, that could be completely transformed if you consciously decided to listen at a deeper level? Just think about it. That power is entirely in your hands. Thanks for watching.